It's a new year. Time to finally paint another Gundam. What's up, people? It's your boy Liam, and welcome to Millennial Model Mayhem. Today, I'm gonna customize this high-grade Sengoku Astray Gundam. I'm treating this as a warm-up project. I'm gonna experiment, learn new things, get out of my comfort zone, and also try GPaints for the first time. Now, without further delay, release the clacks! There's our boy. Here it is in all its snap-built glory. I originally bought this kit on a whim, and I thought that it was going to be a little janky at first with those big beefy shoulder arms. But once I finished it, I was surprised at how much fun I had with the posing and photography. And for my color scheme, I'm going to grab one of the books from my last video, find some art I like, and we'll extract some sample colors from there. Alright, time to disassemble and get to work. I removed the shoulder-mounted sword holsters because I thought they were distracting and the swords were always going to be handheld, and I also clipped off an asymmetrical head nub. All I did during assembly was the standard 2 nips off the runner, so next I sanded away the nub marks with 600, 800, and 1000 grit sponges. Once everything was sanded, I washed and left to dry overnight, and got everything ready for airbrushing. The primer recommended for me to use with GPaints was Mr. Surfacer 1200, so I put on my respirator and airbrushed on some thinned down coats of this smooth stuff. And once that had cured, I grabbed my trustworthy Winsor & Newton brush to try out an experimental technique. I've seen other builders use the technique of pre-shading to add depth to their paint jobs by layering down a darker layer of paint along the edges and panel lines before the main color is applied, and I'd like to see if a similar effect can be achieved by hand painting on some black Vallejo surface primer. I'm not sure whether the layers of acrylic and lacquer paints will cooperate, or if my freehand pre-shading will even work, but that's okay. As I said before, this project is for experimenting and getting in the groove of things for the new year, so I'm doing my best to enjoy the process and not put too much pressure on myself. Your Gundam, your way. And once that's done, we're going back to the airbrush and we're gonna spray on some straight up G-Paint dark iron for the underframe sections. As I said before, this was my first time using lacquer paints, but this G-Paint went on real easy and came out nice and smooth, so definitely recommend. And if you'd like to try out G-Paint yourself, you can use my affiliate code MMMayhem at studiogundam.com. For the remaining colors, I created 3 different mixtures of blue, white, and black that roughly fit in with the art I chose earlier. My free shading technique didn't really show through with the darkest blue, which isn't surprising, and when it came to the light blue, I think my attempt to achieve an even coat resulted in the paint being a little too thick, but the middle blue mix ended up having the best results. But overall, it still wasn't quite what I was looking for, so I guess I'll have to keep experimenting next time. Surprise! I went back to the black Vallejo surface primer for the V-fin, swords, and some minor details, because they're gonna get that classic shifter paint silver pink that I used on my Ghost in the Shell Barbatos. Once the airbrushing was finished, I went back to the paintbrushes to continue working on the metallic details. The pieces painted with GPaint need a bit of surface primer on the details before I add more silver pink shifter paint. Remember, it's important to use your crappy brushes when painting metallics. Then, because I'm a sucker for painting metallic details on armor, I used Vallejo Model Color Brass on the trim around the silver pink, as well as on the sword, pommel, and crossguard. And the last thing I did before reassembly was adding one single sticker to the eyes. So once he was partially put back together, I gave him a top coat of some semi-gloss so he'd be nice and slippery for some good old Tamiya black panel liner. And to clean up said panel liner, I used mineral spirits from the hardware store with Q-tips. Then, to finish things off, I sealed everything up in a can of Vallejo acrylic matte varnish. Now time for the glory shots. I'm glad I gave in to my gold trim addiction because I think that combined with the shifter paints, the color scheme has proper balance and contrast. Wait a second, what's that? Oh no, the matte varnish looks awful. Oh, I'm gonna be sick. Never using that spray can again. Disgusting! Sengoku Astray Gundam, more like Sengoku Ashtray.
In the name of the Emperor, I command you to cease this barbaric behavior. Have you forgotten that every failure must be a learning experience? Pathetic.
Oh, Kyle, you're so right. He's not my best work, but he does deserve a spot on the shelf with the other boys. There you have it. My first project of 2021 is complete, and it can only go up from here. Thank you for watching to the end of my video, and special thanks to Devin for his voice acting talents. If you enjoyed this content, please annihilate that like button and leave a comment below. If you think I'm an idiot who's bad at customizing model kits,
please annihilate that like button and leave a comment.
I'm already working on the next project, so make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you next time for more Model Mayhem.
Remember, only Xeno scum don't like, share, and subscribe.